Hey guys, it's me, and I am here with the next chapter of your self-love journey, and the chapter is labeled Wisdom. I'm in my car. I have a lot of people home right now, and I just didn't want to record in the house and have a bunch of interruptions, so I'm in my car for this video. I hope you don't mind. I should have really named this chapter Inner Wisdom, but it's wisdom, and I'm going to break it down a little bit to you. Divine, which I lean a lot in on now, the universe and the higher source for help and stability and encouragement and advice in regards to almost every single thing I do. So they said I need to break it down a little bit by definition first before jumping into this chapter. So I wanted to give you the insight. Wisdom, by book, is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, the quality of being wise, the soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application of knowledge, experience, and good judgment. Biblically, it's knowing the greatest goal in any situation and the best way to achieve that goal. Then I was led to looking up SMART. SMART is having or showing a quick-witted intelligence, the ability to apply knowledge and skills. Then I wanted to look at Street Smart and Book Smart. Street Smart is a shrewd awareness of how to succeed in any situation, especially as a result of living or working in a very difficult environment. And Book Smart is a person who learns greatly from books opposed to practical experience. So, I don't know if you have been participating and moving along these months with me and putting into motion basically the steps each month as they're laid out and kind of working through each phase of your self-love journey. But if you have been, you will probably find by this point of your journey that you are exemplifying and you're holding the capacity now to have wisdom. You have wisdom because you have forced yourself into a spiritual and emotional solitude at some point along this journey. And when we're forced into emotional, spiritual, physical solitude, where the only person we have to lean on is ourselves and a greater force in our universe, we are forced into having to learn things on our own, be independent, make sound decisions based off of our experiences. And if you've been someone that has been, prior to the self-love journey, a people pleaser, always following the crowd, someone that's always a yes man, okay, I'll just go along with it without doing my own research, or someone that worked so much and gave yourself little to no self-care, self-love, self-time, that you never had the time to invest in your own understanding, that now that you're finally doing that and you've etched out the time for creativity and passions and self-care and self-love and introspection and journaling, that you're starting to understand things from your own perspective and not someone else's. And what you don't understand, you're starting to dive into books to educate yourself for the intelligence, and you're taking that information and you're actually applying it to your day-to-day through trial and error and paying attention to your triggers. Knowing yourself so well inside out, you can sense energies now around you you feel shifts in environments, you are a better judge of character. All these things, everything that you've done up to this point has opened you up to being a wise individual. But the focus more so on this journey, yes, while being wise and holding the keys and the answers within yourself to every step and every facet along the way, my focus with this chapter is inner wisdom about yourself. And you have come to this point where you know yourself better than anyone, and you trust yourself. When you were in a place of following the crowd and listening to what others had to say and not speaking up, even though you knew different, you were afraid because you lacked confidence in yourself. You had a lot of self-doubt, because to that point, no one ever really gave you the reason to have that confidence. Either they rolled their eyes or made you feel silly for your opinions, would do the work for you, were enablers, would always manage to take care of every situation in your life for you, and you got extremely comfortable with that. Or you were just lazy and decided that you didn't want to put the work in. But when you started practicing self-love and realizing the empowerment that comes along with it, that you are the sole protector of your life, your vessel, your path, your goals, that you are your number one fan, you are your number one best friend, that now you're like, why did I wait this long to finally take the reins of my life? You're finally stepping into an era of your life where you have extreme confidence in your choices, your decisions, your opinions, your perspectives, because you've done the work and you've done the research. And I wanted to give you a few examples as well in regards to comparisons with intelligence or an educated individual versus a wise individual. And they do actually play hand in hand at some point. But an example, I have two. The first example is a doctor. Say you have a student that's highly educated, the top of their class, just graduated from college in the area of being a doctor, and he steps into his employment for the first time, and when presented with a scenario of a patient, he immediately knows the answer and even goes and runs and grabs his book to prove that he's right. But say, for instance, the doctor that's on staff that's been there for, say, 50 plus years would say to him, yes, while that's true, it does check off every single thing in the book that it says right here to make this a valid reason to believe that this is what's wrong with this patient. I have been in this field for X amount of years, and I've seen some things, and I've tried this before. Before we jump to the book and just do this, I have the experience. I have the understanding. I have the know-how. I know how to practically assess this because I've done it so many times before. So that's one example, is by practicing and repeating and continuing to do the work that we're doing on our journey of self-love and self-care and growing to know ourselves and our own energy and our own triggers and our own, you're starting to understand your own inner psyche. And before I even jump to my next example, that also leads me to different avenues and mechanisms of understanding your psyche. Some of us in this group have decided to go to therapy so we can openly talk about our issues and work through them productively and try to understand ourselves better. And some of us, like myself, I've started doing tarot and oracle. And while a lot of people may say they don't believe in it, that's fine. You don't have to believe in it, but the one thing I can say for sure is whether or not the message is true for whoever's listening, when the cards are pulled, I know that when I pull them for myself, it's more about what is my inner psyche telling me I need to teach myself in that moment. It could be a card about love, followed by, I don't know, strife. And then it would force me to have to understand myself, what's going on in my psyche that involves love and strife. And it doesn't have to be a right answer for everyone. It's what's right for you, and it's helping you dig through those little like nooks and crannies of your brain and try to weed out all that gook that's been building up for years and decades of trauma and you know, trauma. I don't even know how to say it, but and then, you know, prayer is another way. Imagine, you know, you say a prayer and you're praying to a divine source, but when you're saying a prayer, you're allowing yourself to be so vulnerable in that moment because it's private, no one can hear it. You're exposing your inner truths to a higher power that you cannot see, but in actuality, what it's doing, it's revealing to you the things that are in your heart that you need to work on. I mean, it took me over 40 years to kind of put that one together, but that's because I was also very sheltered. I was always taken care of. I was always protected and watched out for and guided, and I was made to really question my own personal judgment to a fault, and finally taking the reins of my own life and doing my own homework and doing the legwork and doing the reading and doing the practical applications of it. It feels great. It's empowering, and that's how you should feel right now. And I encourage you to keep on doing the reading and the practicality part of that, because an educated person that has book smarts and street smarts and has experience that is wise is a very, very powerful individual. Someone that needs from no one. Someone that can stand on their own 2 feet. And I want to bring it back really quick to that last point where I had another example, because I wanted to show you how the ability to obtain knowledge and an experience and creating wisdom within yourself can literally apply to every facet of your life and every vocation there is. I'm going to pull it back to me for a second with acting. I went to college for acting, and I was given roles, and I was given monologues to perform. And I look back now at some of the work I did or how I was invested into the part, and I think to myself now, if I could do that again, if I had another chance at doing that same part again, but now, oh wow, how the tables would turn, how I could do it so much differently, because I have gained so much experience throughout the years that now I'm in a place where I understand that part so much better, and I can encompass the character so much better. I mean, even when I used to work as a mortgage banker, and I would have people call me about their homes and wanting to do debt consolidation, and how, like, they would explain to me and list off all the debts they had and, you know, how much their house was worth. And to me at the time, I was such a young girl. I did the work, I did the math, but to me, I never saw the human in the situation or the actual reality of it. I just saw the numbers and clipped away and did the numbers, but there was not a really, I have to be honest, I don't think I had a very good rapport with a lot of my older customers, because I came from a place that lacked understanding. Put me back in that position now, and I probably would have great rapport because I'm a homeowner. I know what it's like to pay bills. I understand what it's like to have to pick and choose between this debt and that debt. So experience is key to this message, and most importantly, experience in regards to you, your journey, knowing thyself, knowing your psyche, knowing who you are at an internal deep level, and then taking that and using that to apply things in your life to create a better version of yourself. So that will lead us right into our next chapter. After this, we're going to go into intuition and how to tap into it a little bit better and how to make it grow stronger. And yeah, that is your read or your chapter for self-love in October. I hope it helps, and I will be here If you have any questions, we'll work through it together this month. Have a good one.